Did you know that choosing the right database in Azure can make or break your SAP workload performance? Whether you are running SAP HANA, SQL Server, or any other supported database, the way you configure storage, compression, and direct blob storage access can have a massive impact. In this video, we will break down SAP database supported on Azure. We will also explore SQL Server for SAP work. We will dive into database compression and even see how you can store database files directly into Azure Blob Storage. If you are working on SAP on Azure or preparing for AZ-120 or just curious about database options available for SAP on Azure, you don't want to miss this. Let's get started. Welcome back to AZ-120 SAP Workloads on Azure series. In this series, we are laying the foundation for running SAP on Azure's IaaS platform, ensuring that you have the right knowledge to deploy, optimize, and manage your SAP workloads efficiently. In our last video, we explored various storage options which are available from Azure for SAP. If you have missed it, be sure to check it in the link above. Now, let's understand what we have in store today. We will be shifting our focus to database on Azure for SAP, a critical component that directly impacts your SAP workloads performance. It also impacts scalability, cost, and efficiency. The topics which we will cover is what databases are supported by SAP on Azure, how does SQL Server fit into the SAP ecosystem, what is database compression, and why should you care? Can you store SAP database files directly on Azure Blob Storage? To kick things off, let's first answer a fundamental question. What is a database and why is it so crucial for SAP workloads? Now, before we move in, if you're new here, my name is Rajdeep. I am a Microsoft certified trainer and a solution architect, and I help clients build amazing solutions every day. What is a database? Database is a structured collection of information stored electronically in a computer system. It is designed for efficient storage, retrieval, and management of data, ensuring seamless access around the organization. Why is it so important for SAP? In an SAP environment running on Azure, the database is the backbone of an enterprise. It enables storage and management of business data, handles vast amount of information including sales transactions, consumer details, and financial records. It also helps in business intelligence and optimization, analyzing stored data, and helps businesses optimize operations, improve efficiency, and drive revenue and growth. It also provides you real-time analytics like the one which we use in SAP HANA. It enables instant data processing, allowing businesses to make fast and data-driven decisions. Let's have a look at the type of databases. Relational databases. These are structured databases that follow a predefined schema and use SQL, which is a structured query language, to perform CRUD operations. What is CRUD? CRUD is create, read, update, and delete operations. These databases are also ACID compliant. Now, if you want to know more about ACID, you can refer to this video, which I have linked above, where we talk about ACID compliance. These databases allow relationships between different data points. What are some of the examples of relational databases? MySQL, SQL Server, Oracle, Postgres, and IBM DB2. Man, somehow I love these database icons, don't you? If you do, let me know in the comments below. Also, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your buddies or colleagues who might benefit from the content. Your support motivates me and helps me create more such content. Moving on, the next kind of databases are NoSQL databases. These are non-relational databases. Unlike relational databases, NoSQL databases handle large volume of unstructured, semi-structured, and structured data. They offer flexible schemas, they are highly scalable, and they have a better performance for modern applications. Let's look at some of the examples with categories. Document databases like MongoDB, CouchDB. Key value stores or key value databases like Redis, Amazon RDS, and Amazon DynamoDB. White column stores, graph databases like Neo4j. Now, as we saw, data is the beating heart of the organization, and Azure provides powerful tools to store, manage, and analyze this data efficiently, ensuring the right people have access to the right information at the right time. Now let's take a look at SAP note number 1928533. What does it talk about? It talks about which databases are supported for which operating systems for Windows and Linux servers. For Windows servers is SQL 2008 Plus. So this is Microsoft's flagship relational database, and it includes features such as scalability, BI tools, and compression. SAP ASE 16.0, previously it was called Sybase, is optimized for high scalability, supports partition level locking and index compression. IBM DB2, which is supported for both operating systems like SAP ASE, is basically enterprise grade database with no SQL capabilities. When I say no SQL, I mean non-relational database NoSQL capabilities, and it has built-in compression and also utilizes in-memory technology. Oracle databases, these are robust and scalable with automated management and support various data models including in-memory processing. One thing to note about this is Oracle database is also commonly used in Oracle Linux. So that's the only database which is supported in Oracle Linux. Speciality of Oracle database is it's an enterprise grade Linux based RDBMS. It has features like in-memory cache, real application clusters, advanced data compression, and high availability tools. It also supports Oracle RAC, Oracle Data Guard, and Oracle Multi-Tenant and database sharding. SAP Live Cache. This is a specific SAP related database supported both on Windows and Linux servers, optimized for SAP supply chain management, and supports high frequency data which changes from time to time, and it helps in real time planning. Now SAP HANA 1.0 SP12 Plus or SAP HANA 2.0 is specifically only supported on Linux. And then you have SAP MaxDB 7.9. Now we know what are the specific databases which are supported on Windows and Linux platforms as well as Oracle platform. Let's understand SQL Server a bit more. What is SQL Server? SQL, as we know already, is a relational database management system developed by Microsoft. SQL uses Transact SQL or T-SQL for querying and managing data. It includes SAP specific features and optimizations for better integration. SQL Server can be integrated with SAP tools like DBA Cockpit for a database administration and monitoring. There's also an important component in SQL Server, and that is called TempDB. Now, what does this TempDB mean and why is it important? A TempDB is a system database in SQL Server that provides temporary storage for user-created temporary objects. It also stores internal operations and intermediate query results. It plays a crucial role in performance optimization and complex data processing. Now, where does this TempDB get stored in Azure virtual machines? What does Microsoft recommend? So Microsoft recommends for all virtual machines which are not A series, SQL Server, TempDB, data and log files can be placed on the non-persistent D drive. Now, what does this non-persistent mean? We have talked about this in great lengths in our previous videos, but let me refresh you. Non-persistent is a drive in Azure which disappears when the system reboots. This drive is specifically placed in Azure VM for performance reasons. However, in case of TempDB, this particular drive can be a boon. It offers better I/O latency and higher throughput compared to standard storage. Now, how do you determine the right TempDB size? For that, you should refer to your TempDB usage on your current system, which is already present, probably in on-premises, and estimate the required right size. Now, let's understand the SQL Server configuration for SAP databases in relation to TempDB. Now, TempDB data mainly consists of temporary user objects, internal objects, work tables, and version stores, and the TempDB log file contains activities and transactions. These are to be placed on D drive for better performance. Persistent data and log files should be stored on a pool of disk which uses Windows storage spaces direct. Now, what is persistent data? Any data which is not temporary. For example, your SQL Server data files, your SQL Server log files, you should place it in a persistent drive. Now, why you should use storage spaces is an altogether different topic, but just to touch on it, storage spaces is a software-defined storage solution in Windows. It essentially allows you to combine multiple physical drives into single logical drive. The benefits it gives is it improves your performance, increases storage capacity, and also helps you get better fault tolerance or protection against disk failures. The setup is similar to clustering. It ensures high availability and resilience for SQL Server data files. Now let's understand another interesting concept. It is called database compression. Now, why use database compression? Microsoft recommends database compression in scenarios where I/O bandwidth is limited. It's especially useful in migration scenarios when you're enabling compression on premises. This can reduce the volume of data uploaded to Azure. It can shorten the migration duration by transferring compressed data, and it will also help you lower the Azure storage costs by storing compressed data. Now, what is database compression? Database compression in SQL Server is a feature by which you reduce the size of database files for improving storage efficiency and potentially enhancing I/O performance. Now, how do you do it? Primarily two types. First one is row compression. In row compression, you convert fixed length character strings into variable length formats, remove blank characters to save space, and you will also remove null or zero values, reducing unnecessary storage. It will also help you reduce metadata overhead required to store each row. The next method is called page compression. In page compression, you basically use the same method of row compression with further optimizations like replace repeated values within a page and also use dictionary compression. If we come to the benefits of database compression, it helps you reduce the disk space, memory usage for cached data, improves I/O performance, and compressed data remains in memory and disk, reducing read-write load. There are some cons as well. The cons being compression also increases the CPU usage due to additional processing for compression and decompression. And compression settings are normally not inherited by the child objects, requiring explicit configuration for the child objects. Now, interestingly, SQL database allows you to store database files in Azure storage account. Now, traditionally, database files were stored on disks, and in Azure, this means virtual hard disks. Now, as we all know, these virtual hard disks are backed by storage accounts, and we have already talked about it in our previous video. What if you could remove that VHD wrapper and store the files directly in the storage account? With SQL Server 2014 and later, this is a possibility. Now, why should you store files directly in Azure storage account? Well, this offers a few benefits, which is overcoming disk limitations. If your Azure VM has a limit on the number of disks it can attach, this method allows scaling beyond IOPS constraints. It also helps you in easy backup and restore. The database file stored in Azure blobs can be moved and restored quickly. Also, potentially you can save some costs, like Azure blob storage can be more cost efficient for certain workloads. However, you should keep in mind that there are some limitations, namely only user databases are supported. The system databases like master model MSDB and TempDB must remain on traditional disk storage. There is a performance impact, namely VM bandwidth is used for I/O operations instead of storage I/O quota, which can cause network bottlenecks. There is no write accelerator and no host-based caching is available for blob storage. And storage account and SQL Server has to be in the same region for latency optimization. Now, what Microsoft recommends is do not use this kind of setup in your production workloads. Microsoft suggests use a traditional VHD approach for stable, high-performance database storage. Now that you have a clear understanding of SQL Server's role in SAP environment and how to optimize its infrastructure, you're well on your way to building a high-performance database setup. From TempDB placement to leveraging Windows storage spaces for high availability, these best practices will ensure your SAP workload runs smoothly and efficient. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and hit that bell icon so you never miss an update. Got any questions? Drop them in the comment box and I'll be happy to answer. See you in the next video.